Welcome to the Cenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, so ready to dive into something a little bit spooky today.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I think a lot of our listeners have probably experienced this, or at least know somebody who has.
Yeah, I would say it's fairly common.
Sleep paralysis.
That's right.
So you wake up, you're aware of where you are, but you can't move your body.
Like you're frozen in place.
Yeah, it can be absolutely terrifying.
It definitely is for a lot of people.
And so today we're going to do kind of a deep dive on sleep paralysis.
Absolutely.
We're going to try to figure out what causes it and what you can do if it happens to you.
Exactly. So we're going to look at the symptoms, the causes, and what it feels like.
Yeah, the why and the how.
All of it. And hopefully provide some strategies for anyone who's struggling with this.
Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
What exactly is sleep paralysis?
Well, simply put, it's a temporary inability to move or speak.
You're conscious.
That's right. You're awake and aware, but you're completely paralyzed.
And this happens when you're falling asleep or waking up.
Usually during that transition period.
Now, why does that happen? Why does our body just decide to stop working for a little bit?
Well, it's actually all tied to our sleep cycles.
Okay.
Specifically, the REM stage of sleep.
REM, rapid eye movement.
Exactly. That's when we dream.
Mm-hmm.
And during REM sleep, our brains actually paralyze our muscles.
Wait, so we're paralyzed when we dream?
Yeah, it's called REM-induced muscle atonia. And it's a totally normal thing.
Why does that happen?
So that we don't physically act out our dreams.
Imagine that.
Right.
Right.
You could really hurt yourself or someone else.
So sleep paralysis happens when this paralysis continues even after we wake up.
That's right. Your mind wakes up, but your body is still stuck in that REM sleep paralysis.
I see. Okay, well, that explains the whole not being able to move part.
Right.
But what about the other stuff?
Like what?
Like the hallucinations?
Oh, yeah.
People see and hear all sorts of crazy things during sleep paralysis.
Yeah, it can get pretty wild.
So what causes that?
Well, it's not fully understood, but it seems like it's a kind of mixing of dream content and waking consciousness.
So like your dreams are bleeding into your real life.
Kind of, except you're not fully dreaming. You're in this weird in-between state.
Makes sense.
And because sleep paralysis is often accompanied by fear and anxiety.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Right. Well, that can influence the content of the hallucinations.
So what kind of hallucinations are we talking about?
Well, they can be visual, auditory, or even tactile.
Tactile meaning touch.
Right. So let's start with visual hallucinations.
Okay.
People often report seeing shadowy figures lurking in the room.
Like a monster in the closet.
Well, not necessarily a monster, but yeah, something dark and undefined.
Creepy.
Some people see a figure standing at the foot of their bed.
Like a person.
Could be. It's often described as a dark or shadowy form.
Okay, that's definitely freaky.
Then you have auditory hallucinations.
So what are people hearing?
All sorts of things. Whispers, footsteps, buzzing noises.
Like someone's breaking into their house.
That's a common interpretation, especially because you're already feeling scared and vulnerable.
And then there are tactile hallucinations.
Which can be the most disturbing.
Yeah, because it feels like someone is actually touching you.
Exactly. People report feeling like they're being touched, pressed down on, even dragged out of bed.
Wow, that's intense.
And you can imagine how those sensations would just amplify the fear.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we've got the paralysis and the hallucinations.
Right.
What other symptoms are there?
Well, a lot of people also experience a feeling of pressure or tightness in their chest.
Like they can't breathe.
Exactly. It can feel like something is sitting on your chest, suffocating you.
That's scary.
And it's probably where the term nightmare comes from.
Really?
Yeah. In the old days, people thought that a demon or some evil spirit was sitting on your chest while you slept, causing bad dreams.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Even though we know better now, that feeling of not being able to breathe can be extremely frightening.
So it's this combination of physical sensations and hallucinations.
Yeah. And an overwhelming feeling of fear.
That really makes sleep paralysis so unsettling.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've talked about what sleep paralysis is and what it feels like.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about why it happens.
Okay.
What makes someone more likely to experience sleep paralysis?
Well, there are a number of factors that can contribute.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is sleep deprivation.
Not getting enough sleep.
Right. If you're not getting enough sleep or your sleep schedule is all over the place.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that.
Well, it can disrupt your sleep cycles and increase your chances of waking up during REM sleep.
When your body is still paralyzed.
Exactly.
So basically, if you want to avoid sleep paralysis, get enough sleep.
That's a good starting point.
What else?
Stress and anxiety can also play a role.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're feeling stressed or anxious, your sleep is more likely to be fragmented.
Meaning you wake up more during the night.
Right, and that increases the chances of waking up during REM sleep.
So what can you do about that?
Well, managing stress is important in general, but there are specific things you can do to relax before bed.
Like what?
Taking a warm bath, listening to calming music, practicing some relaxation techniques.
Deep breathing, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Anything that helps you wind down.
Okay, so sleep and stress, those are two big ones.
Right.
What about medical conditions? Are there any specific conditions that are linked to sleep paralysis?
Yeah, there are a few.
Like what?
Narcolepsy, for example.
That's a sleep disorder.
Yeah, it's a neurological disorder that affects sleep-wake cycles.
And people with narcolepsy are more likely to experience sleep paralysis.
Exactly. The brains have trouble regulating sleep, so they're more prone to these kinds of unusual transitions between sleep stages.
Interesting.
There's also some evidence that certain medications can increase the risk of sleep paralysis.
Like what kinds of medications?
Some antidepressants, for example.
Really? I take antidepressants.
Well, it's not a guarantee, but it's something to be aware of.
Definitely something to talk to my doctor about.
Yeah, if you're concerned, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor.
Okay, so sleep deprivation, stress, narcolepsy, certain medications,
Right.
anything else?
Well, there are a few other things that might play a role.
Like what?
Sleeping position, for example.
How you sleep can affect whether you get sleep paralysis.
It seems that way, yeah.
How so?
Well, sleeping on your back seems to increase the likelihood of sleep paralysis.
Why is that?
Not totally clear, but it might have something to do with pressure on the airway.
I see.
It's also possible that substance use can contribute.
Like drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, those substances can mess with your sleep cycles and potentially trigger sleep paralysis.
So if you're having problems with sleep paralysis, cutting back on those things might help.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We talked about what sleep paralysis is, what it feels like, and what causes it.
Right.
But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear some personal stories.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I think it's really helpful to hear about other people's experiences.
Absolutely. It makes it feel less isolating.
Right. So in our research, we came across some really vivid descriptions of sleep paralysis.
Yeah, I remember those.
One person said, and I'm quoting here, "It felt like I was being watched by something evil."
Just chilling.
Another person said, "I could see my room perfectly, but I couldn't move a single muscle."
That feeling of being trapped must be so overwhelming.
Yeah, and then there was this one that really stuck with me. There was this dark, shadowy figure standing right at the foot of my bed, and I was completely frozen.
That sounds terrifying.
It does, and it really highlights the powerlessness that people feel during these episodes.
Yeah, you're completely aware of what's happening, but you can't do anything about it.
And then there was another quote that I thought was really interesting. "I tried to scream for help, but absolutely no sound came out."
That must be so frustrating.
Yeah, you're desperate to call for help, but you're completely silenced.
It's like being trapped in a nightmare.
Exactly.
And it's not just the fear, it's the feeling of helplessness that really gets to people.
So what happens after an episode of sleep paralysis?
Well, usually the paralysis just lifts.
Suddenly.
Sometimes it's gradual, sometimes it's more sudden, but eventually you regain control of your body.
And how long does that take?
It varies, but it's usually over within a few minutes.
Okay.
But even though it's over, the experience can really shake you up.
I can imagine.
You might feel anxious, scared to go back to sleep.
Totally understandable.
You might also feel exhausted, both physically and emotionally.
Makes sense.
But it's important to remember that sleep paralysis itself is not harmful.
Physically.
Right. It's a terrifying experience, but it won't hurt you physically.
That's good to know. Okay, so let's say someone is listening to this and they've experienced sleep paralysis. What can they do about it?
Well, there are a lot of things you can do to try and prevent sleep paralysis from happening.
Okay, like what?
Well, one of the most important things is to establish a regular sleep schedule.
Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day.
Exactly, even on weekends.
Yeah, that's tough.
I know, but it really helps to regulate your sleep cycles and reduce the chances of waking up during REM sleep.
So consistency is key.
Absolutely.
What else?
Well, we talked about sleeping positions, so if you tend to sleep on your back, try sleeping on your side instead.
And you can use pillows to keep yourself from rolling over.
Exactly.
Simple but effective. Anything else?
Well, stress management is really important.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right, so make sure you're taking time to relax before bed.
Deep breathing, warm baths, that kind of thing.
Exactly, and try to avoid things that stimulate your brain before bed, like caffeine and alcohol.
Okay, so good sleep hygiene, basically.
Right.
And if you're really struggling with sleep paralysis, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor.
Absolutely. They can help you rule out any underlying medical conditions.
And they can also recommend a sleep specialist if needed.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of information today.
We have.
But I think the most important takeaway is that sleep paralysis is more common than people realize.
Yeah, it's not some rare, weird thing.
And it's not necessarily a sign of a serious medical problem.
Right. For most people, it's just a temporary glitch in the sleep-wake cycle.
So don't freak out if it happens to you.
Exactly. Knowledge is power.
The more you understand about sleep paralysis, the less scary it becomes.
And there are things you can do to prevent it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So if you're listening to this and you've experienced sleep paralysis, don't worry.
You're not alone.
And there are things you can do to get a better night's sleep.
Sweet dreams.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
My pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in to the Cenario podcast. Don't forget to visit Cenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.